This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. My next guest, Wallace Shawn, is known for his work on stage and film, both of which you have an opportunity to see in New York right now. Shawn's latest play, What We Did Before Our Moth Days, is running at Greenwich House Theater and stars my other guest, John Early. While working on Moth Days, Early and the play's assistant director, Lucas Kane, who is also with us, had the idea to celebrate their playwright's film work in a series called Wallace Shawn, The Master Builder. It's currently running at the Metrograph with screenings each weekend through May 22nd. John, Lucas, and Wallace, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much for having us.
So great.
Thank you so much.
John, Metrograph describes this series as the, quote, brainchild of you and Lucas. How did the...
It's true.
How did the idea for the series come about?
Well, we've been working on Wally's play, What We Did Before Moth Days, for an unusually long time. I mean, relative to the commercial theater world, for about 2 years.
Oh, wow.
We've been rehearsing with Andre Gregory. This is actually quite an abbreviated version of his typical rehearsal periods. But Lucas has assistant directed. I'm in the play, and we've just been... we've just been so happy to be welcomed into this community of great artists, and I think a lot of that community that Wally has built, so to speak, is represented in these films. Like, for example, Maria and Bruce, which screened the other day, which had never gotten distribution actually before, and it played to a packed house.
Wow.
Not to brag, but it was full of these kind of Wally alums like Julie Haggerty and Deborah Eisenberg, and I don't know. I think we're so excited to be a part of this little world, and we wanted to bring some attention to some of these films that have come from that world.
Wallace, what was your reaction to a series at the Metrograph about your work?
Well, it came as a surprise. I did not have anything to do with it. I was told about it after it had already been organized, and I guess I was in shock because, I don't know, but very thrilled because some of the more unknown films that I've been involved with are being shown, and possibly with a more sympathetic audience. My whole life has changed from being hated to being sort of respected. And it's happened, quite, I don't know, if you get older, sometimes you get treated with more respect because you were there when people were children, and the idea of kicking you out of the whole world doesn't arise because you were in the world when they were born. On the other hand, some people have a miserable old age where they're neglected and
I don't think that's you right now.
Tennessee Williams died quite miserably.
Mm.
Why did you think that Wallace's work deserved a series, Lucas?
Yeah, I think John and I are just in such awe of Wally's words with What We Did Before Our Moth Days, and it sort of, we were both fans of Wally's before that, but it sort of led us both to sort of pursue more deeply Wallace's, whole body of work. And I think, as Wally said, a lot of us grew up listening to Wally, seeing Wally in different things, but, for me it was Mind In with Andre that first got me. But then as I explored more, I discovered his play, The Designated Mourner, which is this incredible play that sort of looks in a very unique to Wally sort of way at a society's slow descent into fascism. And, we're screening the film version of that this coming Friday, starring Mark Nichols, directed
His
by
only film role, by the way.
Oh, my God. And he's so fabulous in it, and directed by David Hare. And I think it's a testament to Wally's skill as a playwright, but also his sort of curiosity in the world and his sort of political commitments, his sort of interest in what's happening now all over the world. And I think it just is, I think younger generations are, we love Wally.
Yeah, it's interesting, like as you said, the Marie and Bruce is from a play, the Designated Mourner is from a play. What's interesting to you about the way a Wallace Shawn play translates to screen?
Oh, I mean, that's such a good question. I'd be curious to hear what Wally would say to that. But I think, for instance, we're also featuring Vanya on 42nd Street, which is directed by Louis Malle, and Louis Malle obviously directed My Dinner with Andre as well. And I think their collaboration is so unique and so special because it's not a filmed play; it's a film, but it's able to sort of translate the directness of Wally and Andre's work on stage into a different medium. And I think something like Designated Mourner, which is, a lot of direct-to-camera sort of monologues that are very typical of Wally's work, but in a way that I think if you're, submit yourself as an audience member, it washes over you and pulls you in. And I think it's the same with what we did before our Moth Days right now. It's sort of a different way of paying attention, a different way of listening, a different way of being pulled into a story that's really unique to Wally and Wally's work.
May I call you Wally?
Please.
Okay. Everybody's calling you Wally. Wally, what can a film script do that you can't do with a play, and vice versa?
Well, I'm not really suitable to be on a live radio show because my instinct would be to take a couple of days to think of the answer to that.
Oh, good.
It's.
I was ready to say you were on to curse. I wasn't quite sure yet.
It's. Yeah. I'm just not smart enough for live radio.
Let's keep it simple then. What do you like about writing? What do you like about writing a play?
Well, a play is actually a real experience that people are having on stage. They're pretending to be actors, pretending to be characters, but actually they are living, sweating, breathing, digesting, and actually feeling things about the other actors. It's all real. And people in the audience are watching something that's actually happening in front of them. Film is made up. And the filmmakers use real people who are the actors, but it's not real by the time it's chopped up and packaged.
I'm speaking to writer and actor Wallace Shawn. He's the subject of the Metrograph film series Wallace Shawn, The Master Builder. It was curated by my other guest, actor John Early, and theater director Lucas Kane. Okay, John, you started with Clueless last weekend. Why did you start with Clueless?
Well, we wanted to feature some of the, I would call them gateway performances of Wallace Shawn's that have brought people into some of his other, perhaps somewhat neglected work. Clueless for me was certainly the where I first fell in love with Wally. It's a totally brilliant movie by Amy Heckerling, who actually was at one of our very intimate rehearsals of Moth Days. But it's because of roles like that I think have kind of, at least in my case, seduced me into Wally's work, and I was able to, through my obsession with him, able to find some of his political writing and I don't know. I think we wanted to represent that part of his oeuvre in this series too.
It was interesting. You did a Q&A afterward. What surprised you about the way the audience reacted to a film made in 1995?
Well, I mean, it's such an intelligent, sophisticated movie. It's
based on Emma, right?
Yeah. I don't know. People were just screaming, laughing. And people seemed also very kind of sniffly and moved by the tenderness in it too. It really it works really well, and it treats its audience, its huge audience, with respect. And that's also why it felt like a nice one to include. Yeah.
What do you like about your role in Clueless?
Well, I mean, this is a Hollywood movie that if they were all like that, we'd have a beautiful society, I suppose. And instead of gangsters running our country, we'd have very nice people running it. It's an example of, can popular entertainment actually be compassionate, intelligent, sensitive, and very, very rarely it can be. And so it was a great one to begin the series. And, it fits in very well with some of the more quote-unquote highbrow ones, like The Designated Mourner and A Master Builder, which is based on a play of Ibsen
That you adapted.
that I tried to translate.
Let me ask you about Vanya on 42nd Street, Lucas. Directed by Louis Malle, you mentioned that earlier, starring Wally and Andre Gregory, your frequent collaborator. Why did you want to put this film in there?
Oh, because it's just so good. I mean, I think it's after, it's probably the second film I saw of Andre and Wally's, A Master Builder being the next one. And I think it's just such an extraordinary sort of encapsulation of the theater process. It shows all the actors showing up, and it sort of, I saw it at a very young age and sort of stoked this fantasy of what theater could be, of doing Vanya in an abandoned theater, in Times Square, of all these different actors coming together and sort of doing a very simple, down to the essence sort of production that's just so, so moving. And I think, the people who got to see it live were so blessed. And I sort of fantasized, oh my God, if only I had been there. And it's been such a dream to, be here now and be able to be a part of what we did before our Moth Days. But I think Vanya, just like the play itself, stands the test of time. I think it's a beautiful exploration of what gives life meaning, and have we wasted our lives, which is a question I ask every day.
I also have to say it's Wally in a leading man role, and that's kind of this series can kind of loosely be broken down to three categories of a character actor, leading man, playwright. And, Vanya on 42nd Street was shocking for me when I first saw it because, like so many other people, I knew Wally primarily as a kind of a character actor, a beloved character actor. And, I think he's a very soulful, deep character actor, to be very clear, but it was amazing seeing him in a leading role. And we wanted to feature some of those in this series too.
How is a leading role different than being a character actor for you as an actor?
Well, nobody is born wanting to be a character actor. That phrase I've almost never heard anyone use it about themselves. But if you're short, and your viewers, they probably can tell just from everything about my voice, they must probably know that I'm not a normal size. I'm short. And short people are... there is a definite, if you happen to be short, you'd notice that you're not offered leading parts. Now, some people there are people who believe that I am a mediocre or inferior actor, and that they don't want to give me a leading part because I just am not that good at it. But others would say, no.
Everybody in the control room's like, no.
Others would say, no, he is capable. He could play a big part. But as it happened, I've lived in New York all my life. I've been an actor for 40 years. Only Andre Gregory has been willing to hire me to play a leading part in some of these, classical plays. And I should say that the movie Vanya on 42nd Street is a film of Andre Gregory's directing as much as anything. I mean, it's Louis Malle didn't actually interpret what Andre had already worked on for 3 years. Louis Malle did the impossible thing of making a movie of a play, because it's very, very, very hard to do. Fortunately, when we'd done the play over the course of 3 years, we were only doing it for like 15 or 20 people, so we didn't project our voices or try to reach the back row. We were doing something like movie acting, and so it was filmable. But I don't know. I just think that people who, I mean, obviously I have a funny voice, not to myself, but other people think so. And they say that I have speech impediments. That's up to you to decide. You've heard me. I don't really hear them. But
It's your voice.
It's
your
my
voice.
It's my voice,
Yeah.
and I'm not allowed to use vile, angry language on the air, so I won't.
Thank you.
But I feel if you don't like my voice, I feel like saying to you some of the things that we just are not going to say.
Our engineer's got her finger on the button. She's ready for you, Holly.
No, we there's no need to say those things. But yes,
Yeah.
I'm very joyful about my present and about these films being shown. Obviously, some of my bitterness about the past creeps in, but I'm not going to threaten. I mean, Donald Trump has already threatened this station and
Yes, he
all
has.
decent people who are trying to speak truthfully. So I'm not going to add to that by tossing in obscenities.
My guest is Wallace Shawn, as well as Lucas Kane and John Early. We want to talk a little bit about the show, what we did before our moth days. John, how would you describe the experience being directed by Andre Gregory?
Well, it's very mysterious. It's hard to describe. I mean, it's sort of similar to psychoanalysis in the way that a really good analyst just kind of sits there with patience and kindness, and it's really the key ingredient for him is time. That's the big directorial gesture, is just time and patience. And so we just kind of show up every day and we do the play, and we don't discuss it to death. We just kind of let it slowly emerge over time. And yeah, his presence just kind of, he kind of chuckles as you rehearse, and it kind of lulls the play out of you and the performance out of you without those kind of dim choices that I would typically make in the hands of a more kind of a less sophisticated director.
Lucas, what have you learned
Oh
by
my
working
God.
with Andre Gregory?
So many things. I mean, Andre, I think, is just one of our absolute great directors and one of the greatest of American theater. And I think that he is just so present. He's able to conjure a level of attention that feels sort of beyond anything I can do, at least for now. But I think Andre is just so gracious and present and intuitive and attentive. And it's a very, very subtle hand in directing. But he sort of exudes a sort of a love of the actors and of acting and of process itself in a way that I think allows the depth in Wally's words to sort of rise to the surface and sort of have each performance be beyond any single actor. It's sort of, as John said, mysterious, and I think it's so against the grain of how most theater is made, at least in New York today, and I think there's something to really be learned from Andre's patience and his sort of allowing the material to come into life and to stay alive in a way that I just find totally moving.
Wallace, alongside Moth Days, twice a week you're performing your solo show, The Fever. Why do these shows make sense together?
Well, the Moth Days is a very loving portrait of four imaginary members of my own bourgeois New York class, you could say, although New York is not necessarily where it's happening. It doesn't mention New York. And I would say The Fever is rather brutal denunciation of my class as a whole. And that, in a way, is represents my true feeling. I love so many individuals of the bourgeois class, and I don't hate them or blame them, but I do think that my class is the beneficiary of the very cruel system of the current world in which the United States has played a very large part in suppressing the rest of humanity in favor of us.
I got a text here that says, I always liked Wallace Shawn. Now I love him. Keep on keeping on. My guests have been Lucas Kane, Wallace Shawn, and John Early. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And that's all of it. I'm Allison Stewart. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.